Okay, we're on.
Is your recorder this one?
This is a recording.
It's a work session anyways. All right, everybody please stand. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening, folks. We continue to live in the trying times of COVID-19. We are socially distancing and have made an allowance for the public to be here using social distancing norms, etc. I'm going to get this started at 6 o'clock tonight. Can I get a roll call?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
Present.
Meg Lefebvre.
Here.
Barbara Heber.
Here.
Charles Costick. Here. James J. Coffey.
Here.
And I am present as well.
I see nothing for public comment this evening and no letters or emails for consideration. I want to cover a couple of things as it relates. I've been trying to give folks an update as it relates to COVID-19 for Town Hall and the town overall. The one item that I'd like to just get you folks cut to speed, if you haven't seen in the news, the mall is going to open tomorrow. We're very, very pleased. Champlain Centre Mall has done a considerable amount of work in advance of this because they thought they were going to open a couple of phases ago. I talked with Lisa and she said, oh, we can get your hair cut too because you were not doing it in solidarity with the folks there. So, but they get all the social distancing stuff, they're prepared. The question was about the HVAC system. There is, I think it's called MERV. Yes. There's either a 13, a 12, or an 11. Just so you know, our mall has the 11. Just for what people may be having questions or concerns, they may upgrade that as well moving forward because they thought that they may need the 13. So it sounded like they may have even ordered some of the additional filters, but they do meet the standard. They will be open starting tomorrow. And it's a good reminder that we have local businesses in the malls. The malls have changed dramatically. We have Bookberg Books, which received one of our micro-enterprise grants a number of years ago, etc. So just a little bit of there. Want to give you some additional updates. I will be out tomorrow. Patrick, Scott, and I are working on the bond rating. We have to do a presentation to find out where our bond rating will be occurring. So a lot of my time and energy is going to be focused in on that. In short, Moody's is the one that will be seeking our bond rating for. It's been some time, and it's basically kind of a PowerPoint presentation. It's not, it's more a narration, more of a conversation about some of the activities, and then Patrick will do a number of the financial statements for consideration. So just want to give you that heads up that that's something that we're spending a significant amount of time on. And again, the way that we're kind of putting it together, it will look very similar to what I've done with the state of the town. Lots of photos, lots of bullets. So, you know, it's helpful in a dialogue. It's not helpful as a document that you kind of publish per se, and it really just is an opportunity to have a conversation regarding about what's going on with the town. I also wanted to share, I had the pleasure, and I really do mean the pleasure, to sit down with both mayoral candidates yesterday at the Coffee Cat, Chris Rosenquist and Scott Eby. It was a really enjoyable conversation, and they are both committed to strengthening the relationship between the town and the city. And the reason I say strengthening is the relationship between the town and the city never went away. We've always seen the city of Plattsburgh as an opportunity to partner. There's been some hiccups and some things lately where sometimes specific topics have been contentious. But I look forward to working with either one of them, and I know you folks will look forward to working with them too. So just an update. On a more stark topic, I want to read a statement, and then I want to go into it in a little bit more detail. There was an individual in our community that experienced a significant racist experience. It's been in the newspaper, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily read the newspaper or watch the news and stuff, so that's why I want to present this statement. Too many try to act with shock and awe when events like this surface, and the sad truth is racism does exist in our town and in the North Country, and it is unacceptable. The venomous hatred hurled towards Athena Mitchell is reprehensible, and no one should be made to feel unsafe in our community, be they a resident or a visitor. And while the abhorrent acts were caught on film, there are many more victims and of others who have shared this depraved view that goes unreported. Acts of racism are not isolated to one place in the town or our region or our country. They occur often in workplaces, shopping centers, or by folks driving by and screaming comments out windows and on and on. These views are in the minority, yet it is frightening that more voices seem to be coming from out of the shadows, trying to act like they speak for all of us. Let me be clear, they do not. Hatred of this kind must be called out. Hatred of this kind cannot be tolerated, and hatred of this kind must be challenged. Hatred of this kind must never become the majority's value. And I know it's not our town's value. I know that we recently passed, or we adopted a statement in light of the recent situation with George Floyd, but I know that we're committed to continuing to make our community a safe place, an inclusive place. But I also want to bring to light that in Saranac Lake, and I would strongly encourage you to Google it, was a woman who is leading some diversity initiatives in the Adirondacks, publicly made a statement that she feels as though it's not safe to be there. And I'm not making a statement of judgment, or I don't know the full details of it, that's why I direct you to that article. But Saranac Lake is not that far from Plattsburgh. And there are other communities, and there are other actions and other things going on. Now is the time, more than ever, should have always been done, but we have to redouble our efforts to be mindful, and every act that comes out, we have to be there to call attention to it. Because if we don't, it gives people a bye that they think it's okay, and it's not okay. So I just wanted to put that out there to this group, because we said that we were going to be out front on these things, and this is something that happened in our very own town.
So, can we all sign on that and put that in?
Sure.
I think we should.
So, those are the highlights from what's been going on with me, with draft resolutions. We have minutes, monthly reports, and Tim has worked on getting the highway paving request for 2020 put together. Is there anything from committees?
I just want a question on the paving.
Sure.
That's the tentative list, right?
Yes.
I mean, we might not find the whole 200,000.
That's correct, Al.
Okay, so that's going to be monitored as we get, because I don't think we've even had our June numbers, second quarter.
Tom, I had a conversation with Tim about it, so I was checking in terms of the same question you were asking, but also that amount totals $214,426.50. The CHIPS, the PAVE, New York, and I think it's called Extreme Weather. That is 2010 618.11. So that actually includes the CHIPS reduction.
Correct.
Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
So he did say that circumstances could change. We talked about, it's in his purview to obviously identify, but I think he went about it very well. He's looking at Woodland Park as especially because there was just a binder put on that, and then they want to go back and put the top coat on that, so. Yeah. I'll show you guys. What's nice is apparently, with Patrick's great insight, receipts can be filed electronically, so the money can be received quicker. I think that was a COVID-19, you're looking at me kind of.
I only say, quicker in the speed of glacial speed of government work, sure.
Well, I'm gonna make it relevant and related to that, so when I hear electronically, I think,
I'm just glad that they went away from carrier pigeon.
I'm just a hopeful optimist when I hear electronically versus the way they were actually submitting these things. I did ask them if there's any changes in that. And I guess that reduction was about a half a mile of road.
Yeah. You know, and again, for those that may be watching at home, we established a couple of years ago a great partnership with Scatter Falls and Beekman. We bought a new to us. It's kind of like when your kid or your family member gets a new car, but it's new to them, gently used. Paver, the green, paving machine, and they've already started doing some stuff in Beekman Town, working with shared services. Then they'll go over to the next town, and then they'll go to the next town, and that's worked really, really well. So yeah, this weather, I would hope that cools off a little bit, because there is nothing worse than paving this type of weather, though.
Tom, you asked if it's an estimate. It's always an estimate, right? Because
Yeah.
Tim has said sometimes they can't get it all done.
Yep.
And then sometimes they can't spend all the CHIPS money, they don't try to leave a lot of it on the
Right.
table, but
Right.
they do what they can in the season. if they
And
have.
we gotta keep aware of the long-term
Yeah, no, absolutely.
situation.
Anything else from committees that may be going on?
Thanks to our town clerk, we had our first liaison meeting with Kevin in regards to what's been happening with his area during the COVID situation. So we've been busy there, Mr. Patton, in terms of marriage license and filing death certificates. The mausoleum, working on that with Ellenberg, so that's been going well. Your deputy town clerk is back, and so that's, and then we talked about, you had a meeting with Janet Collier.
From the agriculture markets, and Sergeant Prey from the Clinton County Sheriff's Department, and our Kaylee, our dog control officer. So it was just a good session, good things to talk about in regards to how we can better serve the town, make sure that there's to do what we need to do.
Kaylee's our newly appointed dog patrol officer. She took 4 calls on July 4th.
She writes good reports.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
yes.
really
I mean,
appreciate
yeah.
the report, that's perfect.
And the feedback that's been given is that she returns phone calls as best she can. She knows the laws in regards to that area, what she has to do, and so, I do thank her for the start of the monthly reports.
You can tell that she takes pride in the job just from the way she writes the reports.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I hope I can meet her, Kevin, in person at some point. I know I talked to her when she first started.
After COVID, hopefully.
Yeah, but I called her to introduce myself and that comment I wanted to
Yeah,
make.
you talk to the person.
Yeah, I have, so.
I believe we'll probably have some proposals for everybody to think over for the planning board. I hope by this next week, maybe getting to each of you individually before.
Okay.
I'll just say real quick, I talked to Scott today, and there was a boil water order from the head, but nothing actually came in, he said they resolved it before they actually had the order issued.
Oh, great.
And it was due to, pressure issues as the tank is empty out there. But we're putting the second coat on, and it should be up and filled with water next week.
That makes sense. Good.
Tom, just, I don't want to lose sight of this. I would just ask, whenever your committee is ready to make the recommendations of the names, if you could coordinate directly, either one of you, with Deborah, names and spellings and stuff, and she'll prepare the resolutions. Okay, so you don't need to prepare the resolutions.
No,
just-
no.
There
Just,
will
but just,
probably be some need to correct.
yeah, no, but that's why I'm asking, if you folks have done some really good work with that, if you could just, rather than do can you cash, I don't want the middleman to then screw up the work that you've already done, just zip her an email directly or give her a call and she can make those changes. All right. Any other committee stuff?
Just on Parks and Rec too, just so everybody realizes, you know, rec is really moving forward with some of the programs, so. I know they had youth kayak this week, well attended, actually every one of the programs is full. That was one this week, that pickleball in the evenings, we're at Cliff Haven right now going on, so I just think it's really good, and I would just suggest everybody, except Tom, because he doesn't have Facebook, but, to go on the Town of Plattsburgh Recreation Facebook page. They put some great little video clips on there of the youth with the kayaks out at the Gable Beach, so.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, and I think it's just great that they're able to offer the opportunities to some of the youth in the community. You know, baseball kind of fizzled out, but, and they do still, and they did add on the yoga.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask, how's your kids yoga, is that?
Well, it's not
It's
until
new.
August,
Oh,
but
okay.
something that Mel and Aaron are like magicians at is just getting these programs
Mhm.
up and running. It wasn't even like 2 hours that Mel had she contacted her, and then it was, the email went out that there was registration available for the yoga program. So something really new
Mhm.
that we can bring to kids, and probably something needed for a lot of
For a little
kids
bit
right
of,
now, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's just so few opportunities out there right now for
Right.
the youth that I think it's great that they
Yeah.
really get out and at least get some of these programs. Soccer sign up is open, so everything is pointing towards being able to play soccer, so we'll see.
And the other end of the generational spectrum is really nice. I think I talked to you about going down Tom Miller Road by the McCurrier. I think it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The seniors are out there in the shade, maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 chairs and they're all exercising.
And they did have the adult kayak group today. They were out with the Saranac group.
We're having like almost 30 people go on those trips.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I went by the bay was full of kayaks, so it was good.
Was the river wide enough to keep 6 feet apart?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're very good with it,
Yeah,
with the mask and they
Yeah.
disinfect the kayaks, our kayaks, because they are running our kayaks. When they come out, they get sprayed down.
They also break them up in groups,
Yep.
I think of 10, and they have somebody who's like a regular, lead a group, if there's more than 2, so Mel and Aaron can stay with theirs, they're really good.
But I did want to just say one thing. I realize that I don't have Facebook, but I have been making progress. I have one of these.
Yeah.
I'm
We'll get your
coming along.
Facebook account.
And to put in perspective, when I first met you, it was 2 cans and a string.
Exponential
Well,
growth.
just, they're not, Chuck said, as you said, they're not doing baseball, but they are participating in the clinics.
Yes,
For baseball with Scarlet Falls, I
Yes.
think they're still
I did see
taking.
that.
yeah, they worked
Participants
that
in-
out.
Yep.
And, we had a very strong discussion about how using the Cadyville Beach as a waterfront park has worked exceptionally well. On the weekends, if you go by there, these hot weekends, the area there is packed.
Even back on the non-weekend.
Yeah, well, you're right. But, Mel made a point, and I've noticed it when I went by also, is everybody's kind of in their own little group. They are social distancing.
Okay.
It's not like a mob, so they are taking advantage of the waterfront park concept. So I think that's a good concept, and it's something we may look at moving forward, that may be a permanent move for there.
Anything else, other committees, what's going place? With that, I do know the need to go into an executive session regarding the work history of 4 specific individuals. Is there a motion to the effect?
So moved.
Hebert is our second.
Second.
Costick, the time, can I get a roll call?
Michael Cashman.
Yes.
Thomas Wood.
Yes.
Meg LaFave.
Yes.
Barbara Heber.
Yes.
Charles Costa.
Yes.
We will go into an executive session at 6:19, no action to be taken, shouldn't be long at all. So, I am gonna step outside to pull up the directional signs really quickly and then shut the room and give Kevin an opportunity to shut the camera off. No, just,
It shouldn't be too long.
good. Thank you though.